In just 60 seconds, let me give you a whirlwind tour of Bali. Bali is one of the 17,000 islands that make up Indonesia. It is bigger than Goa and smaller than Sikkim. Indians have both visa on arrival and EVA options. The Bali airport is located way in the south. The island can be divided into 5 regions. First is the beach trio of Canggu, Kuta and Seminyak. Amazing beach clubs, nightclubs and upscale stores. Uluwatu in the south is famous for its sunsets, advanced surfing and cliffside views. Ubud in the central is known for its temples, monkey forest, rice terraces and wellness retreats. North Bali has big waterfalls, volcanic mountains and amazing viewpoints. East Bali has the biggest and grandest temples and its own waterfalls. 2 common trips that people take are to Nusa Islands and Gili Islands. Nusa Islands are known for its amazing rock formations, snorkeling and excellent beaches. Gili, on the other hand, is known for cycling in carless lanes, scuba diving and parties. April to October is dry and touristy. November to March are monsoons with lesser crowds. Temperature is about 25 degrees year round, so you can visit anytime.
Hi, I'm Tarang and I've myself visited Bali twice, both times with a different set of friends. First in 2023 and the second in 2025. The place balances beach parties and the silence of the forest. It is open-minded, safe, quite pocket-friendly for even an international destination. Bali runs on tourism. Australians, Chinese, Indians make up majority of the tourists. I have personally visited Gili Trawangan, Nusa Penida, Mount Bromo and Mount Ijen in Java and all major neighbourhoods of Bali. Here is a humble attempt to help you plan the best Bali trip that you could have ever imagined.
Like any other place in Southeast Asia, Bali too has a lot to offer. I have bucketed them into 9 heads. The heads are the clubs, the temples, waterfalls and canyons, mountains and rock formations, beach and sea activities, internal movement, food and drink, fitness and wellness, shopping and stores. Let's dive deep into each one of them to understand them better. Let's talk about clubs in Bali. There are 3 types of clubs: beach clubs, day clubs and night clubs. The terms are often interchangeably used, but they are not the same. Coming to beach clubs, picture a grand resort's beachside entity which serves food and drinks, has multiple swimming pools, great music, no dress code, and finally a beach adjacent to it. Now there are different types of tables available that can be pre-booked. There are loungers, beds, pool tables, garden chairs, etc. depending on the property. Now you can pre-book them in advance and get a discount from their website, or you can walk in and book something immediately. Usually things are available. Now all of them have a max seating capacity and a minimum spend that is chargeable against whatever you eat. There's always a section of free or no minimum spend on certain tables and chairs. So generally with no entry fee, you can just enter, enjoy a drink or meal, swim and dance and just leave. Fins is the most famous beach club in Bali. We also have Potato Head, Atlas, La Brisa, Cafe Del Mar, Mari in the Seminyak, Canggu area. In the south, we have El Carbon, Palmila, White Rock, Sundays, etc. in the Uluwatu region. Now, people usually spend about half a day here between the pool, beach, food, music. Sunsets are the most crowded hours. Second, coming to day clubs, loosely defined, they're very similar to beach clubs, but just without a beach. So most day clubs compensate for the lack of beach with some other special element, like there are cliff views at the Rock Bar, which is the iconic cube at the Savaya in Uluwatu, or the rice terraces or the multi-level pools at Crete or Cabana in Ubud. Third, let's talk about nightclubs. Now Motel Mexicola is my favorite place to dance in the world. You should not skip it. Mexicola plays English upbeat music with lyrics. The whole club is singing to its tunes, dancing along on the floor or tables, sipping excellent cocktails or mingling with the tourists. It isn't too dark or too bright with perfect neon pink lights. It's a vibe every day. La Favela, Mirror Lounge, Shishi Club, Sky Garden, Iron Fairies are some other popular options if you want to move a hip. Weekend parties are a global thing, but Bali is also famous for midweek parties. Go to Luigi's on a Monday. It's a pizza place that hosts Meto Monday for a crazy Monday night party. Old Man's is another beachside restaurant that hosts Dirty All Wednesday for another all-inclusive midweek party. Apart from this, there are 2 LGBT clubs in Bali next to each other. Both are quite small but quite entertaining. You will see drag shows, tasty cocktails, queer people from around the world with their straight friends dancing along with them. Their names are Mixwell and Bali Joe. In addition to this, Gili Islands is also famous for its foam parties. Rabbit Jump is a place that you should definitely go around sunset. Take a poolside bed, enjoy the pool full of foam and sip some cocktails while gazing at the sunset. Rabbit Jump also has 3 jumping platforms on a deep pool, 1.5 meter, 3 meter and 5 meter high. You will see all kinds of tourists pushing in for some adrenaline rush. Let me tell you about Balinese temples. Some context before that. Indonesia is a Muslim majority country. In fact, at 242 million, it has the highest number of Muslims of any country in the world. It is followed by Pakistan at 233 million and India in the third place at 200 million. Another fun fact is that it is one of the few countries where Islam did not spread because of war or threats, but rather through Arab traders who introduced the religion to the people and the king who chose to adopt it. Prior to this, the island was mostly animistic, Buddhist or Hindu. Bali was and is still a Hindu majority island. Now, Hinduism grew there with its own style and version, quite different from India. The temples here have beautiful gates, lots of sculptures based on Ramayana and Mahabharata, water bodies to cleanse oneself. The Balinese too have a tradition of joining palms to pray, like India, but in Bali, they hold them closer to their forehead, unlike near the chest in India. Now, most of the famous temples are in Ubud, North and East Bali, but there are 2 very famous temples in the south. First is Tanah Lot. It is a beautiful landmark right at the beach. You can't miss this beauty, especially when the sun is at the horizon. Now, tourists are not allowed to enter the temple premises, but one can capture the beauty in low tides right at the beach. Second, the best views of seaside cliff can be seen at the Uluwatu temple. More importantly, it hosts the daily Kechak fire dance, which is a spectacle to behold. It happens every day twice, once from 6 to 7 pm at sunset and 7 to 8 pm after dark. You can even pre-book your tickets. Moving on, in North Bali is the famous Ulundanu temple, Bali's largest monastery called Brahma Vihara Arama. In East Bali, we have the famous gates of heaven that you might have seen on the Instagram. Tirtha Ganga and Tamanujung are also famous temples known for their gardens and water pools. Pura Vesak is Bali's largest and holiest temple complex. Lastly, Ubud Central has the famous Saraswati Temple or the Water Palace and the Sacred Monkey Forest Sanctuary, which is a complex of temples, monkeys, trees and walkways. Here is a download on waterfalls and canyoning in Bali. Any evergreen forest in the world will have hundreds of waterfalls. Go to Northeast India, Amazon in South America or any forest in Southeast Asia. So what is different with the waterfalls in Bali? There are 3 things. Let's talk about the first one. Accessibility. All waterfalls in Bali have a marked route. The roads and bridges through the waterfall are well maintained. They all have parking, are on Google Maps on correct locations, have an entry and exit timing, so a lot of people can go. Second, you can swim and enjoy till the end. Following basic caution, almost all waterfalls are accessible to tourists. Take pictures, wear whatever you like without ogling eyes. What makes the exception even better is that it's not usually very crowded. There are so many accessible waterfalls in Bali that the crowd gets diverted. Plus, going to the waterfall requires a good amount of walking, which again filters lazy crowd out. Third, most waterfalls are so close to urban centers that you can visit them as a 3-hour thing in your day's itinerary. Leke Leke and Git Git are plunge waterfalls where you can swim till the plunge. Banyumala Twin is a segmented waterfall with a pool. Tibumana is a punch bowl waterfall. Tukad, Sepung and Kanto Lampu are fan waterfalls with those aesthetic waterfall backgrounds that you can see. Now, all the above that I mentioned was basic fun. Let me talk about the ultimate adventure. Canyoning has become my favorite outdoor activities. But what is canyoning? The canyoning involves following a forested path from a higher point A to a lower point B while following a stream of water or waterfall. Now, this path can include what? Trekking in the forest, swimming across streams, climbing some mountains, abseiling down waterfalls, cliff jumping into pools from heights anywhere from 1 meter to 14 meter highs. You can zip line through trees and gorges, slide down waterfalls like you're in nature's very own water park. Now, there are multiple guided tours in Bali at varying intensities. You can choose the one most suitable for you. Some even require swimming skills, but a lot of them just don't. So Bali offers a canyoning experience for everyone. You can go to Aling Aling, Git Git, but do pre-book. Next, let's talk about natural rock formations in Bali. Indonesia lies on the Ring of Fire. It was bound to have some of the most amazing rock formations in the world. Keling Keling Beach in Nusa Penida is a picture you would see in every Bali tourist's post. This next rock formation is called Angel Billabong. The place may seem quite ordinary until you visit it on a day when waves are crashing against it and delighting the tourists with an intense background and some sprinkles of water. Broken Beach on the same island is another example for a unique rock formation. Mount Agung and Mount Batur are some volcanic mountains in Bali and are famous for sunrise drives and hikes. Coming to beach and sea activities in Bali, Bali is home to surfing beginners as well as surfing experts. The coasts along Canggu and Kuta offer multiple beginner-friendly private surf lessons at just about 1200 to 1500 an hour, while the coasts of Uluwatu are a spectacle to behold with advanced surfers. Snorkeling and scuba diving are pretty much omnipresent with the sea. I would highly recommend you scuba at Gili. The dive site is not cold, is home to three types of turtles. This living coral and its fish ecosystem is amazing. Turtle sighting is almost certain. Snorkeling at Nusa is also a pleasant experience. You can even spot manta rays. Parasailing, jet skiing, beach volleyball, banana boats and its various types are present across all commercial beaches. Now Bali is one of those developed places that still has an underdeveloped public transport system. Though there are buses on popular routes, they often take twice the time taken by private transport, which is not feasible, especially if you are a tourist. Plus, you will have to walk or hail a taxi for the last mile from your bus stop to your place. Grab and Gojek are the most popular and reliable ride-hailing apps that most tourists use. The roads are quite narrow, resulting in huge queues of cars and you end up stuck in traffic. Hiring two-wheeler taxis or renting a two-wheeler at about 500 rupees INR a day are better options. Two-wheeler taxis are also better if you are traveling solo or are on a tight budget. A lot of tourists rent two-wheelers, but let me tell you that an IDP is required to ride in Indonesia. Though shops might still rent you these vehicles, the liability of the fine lies on you. However, fines are very rare. I have never seen a single police officer in Bali. Now for groups, renting a 10-hour private car or a shuttle is also a feasible option. A Toyota Hiace for up to 12 people can be booked at about 6.5k for a day, or an elf-long bus for about 15 people at 8k. Innovas are also a great option at a similar price for smaller groups. Now for movements over water, public ferries are plenty and affordable. They ply regularly and are usually safe. Nusa and Gili are the two most popular destinations that people go to from Bali. Sanur and Padang Bai are the two ports that cater to them respectively. It takes about an hour to reach Nusa from Sanur and about 2 hours to reach Gili from Padang Bai. Most ferries can be pre-booked online. I choose 12Go to book ferries, and not just in Indonesia but in the entire Southeast Asia. So please report at least about 30 minutes before your ferry time, as all passengers must check in at the operator's office. The operator will give you a neck tag which acts like a boarding pass at the harbour. They also give you a tax receipt, a harbour tax receipt for each passenger. Next, let's talk about fitness and wellness in Bali. We can break this down into fitness centers, wellness retreats and Balinese massages. With the influx of nature-loving tourists, the supply of wellness centers have increased multifold. A lot of them are in the Canggu area. Wanderlust is great for group classes. Nirvana Life has become quite popular too. Obsidian is a modern huge gym. Omni is a new premium fitness center, but just search gyms around you on Google Maps and you will get swanky gyms anywhere in Bali. Talking about wellness retreats, they are resorts that offer vegan food, yoga and meditation, rooms close to nature with forests and streams even in your backyard. Now sounds like a paradise, but it also costs like a paradise. A lot of them are in Ubud. Some popular ones are Como, Shambhala, 5 Elements Retreat, Maya Ubud, and lastly let's talk about the Balinese massage. All these places that I've mentioned would offer some type of massage to their customers. Now there are massage parlors everywhere in Bali at various price points. There are also male-to-male spas for male guests seeking a male masseuse. Coming to food and drinks in Bali, Bali is majorly a non-vegetarian place, but you get vegan food all around. There are some unique dining experiences like Coral in Nusa Dua. You sit in a glass dome aquarium while having food, fishes all around. 7 Paintings is a set menu meal where you make art and eat it. Taman Dedari is an open restaurant with huge sculptures in its premises. Vegan food is quite easily available everywhere in Bali. Let me list out a few places. I Am Vegan Babe, Kind Community, Shady Shack in Canggu, Seminyak, cashew tree, chickpea in Uluwatu, alchemy zest, sayuri in Ubud. Have lots of smoothie bowls on your trip. They are fresh and super delicious. Now Bali has some amazing cocktail bars as well. 40 Thieves in District 1 in Seminyak, Sengo and Shady Pig in Canggu. Bali is not big on microbreweries, but the Black Sand Brewery in Canggu is an exception. In addition to these, all day clubs, nightclubs, beach clubs will have their own specialities and serve great food and alcohol. A special mention to Arak. Arak is a traditional Balinese distilled spirit made primarily from fermented coconut flower sap, palm sap, or rice. It has been an integral part of Balinese culture for centuries and not just an average beverage. It's a symbol of spiritual connection and social bonding. Devi Shri, Karut Soju, Selaka Ning, and Ivak are some prominent brands that you can try. There is also a lot of rice wine variety, but avoid informal sellers. Speaking of local desserts, Bubur Inchin or black rice pudding is black rice cooked with palm sugar and topped with coconut milk. Dadar Gulung or sweet coconut crepes are green pancakes colored with the pandan leaf juice and filled with grated coconut or palm sugar, my favorite. Pisang goreng or fried banana are deep fried bananas served with ice cream or honey. Jajan pasar or assorted traditional cakes are bite-sized cakes such as klepon or sticky rice balls with palm sugar. Laklak or green rice flour pancakes. Senil, also known as chewy tapioca sweets. Next we have Bubur Sumsum is a sweet coconut rice porridge served with palm sugar syrup, sweet potato dumplings. Batun Bedil are rice flour dumplings served in a warm brown sugar sauce with coconut milk. All the above are traditionally vegan as they are made without egg and in coconut milk. Apart from these, both Gojek and Grab also double as food delivery apps. There are thousands of restaurants and of all kind, Indian, vegan, Italian, you name it. Talking of shopping and stores in Bali, like the 7-Elevens in Japan and Thailand, Indonesia has M-Marts, Indomarets and Circle Ks. They usually open 24 hours and sell even alcohol. They are quite ubiquitous on the whole island. Bali is also known for a range of handcrafted art and clothing to local delicacies spa products. Balinese batik is a traditional UNESCO recognized textile art featuring detailed patterns and vibrant colors. It is used for scarves, sarongs, dresses and home decor. Other distinct Balinese fabrics include endek, a soft patterned ikat cloth, and songket, a luxurious textile hand woven with gold and silver threads. Other popular purchases include sarongs, a light cloth worn at temples or beaches, ata grass handmade bags, silver jewelry from Seluk, woodwork from the Mas village, and the Batua paintings are quite popular. There is a strong coffee drinking culture on the island, with the Kin Tamani coffee being quite popular along with the controversial Kopi Luwak made from the feces of the captive civet cats. Spices, spa products, incense are some other popular categories on the island.
In addition to whatever I have mentioned, Bali's spiritual and wellness culture is quite nuanced. There are paid services like meditating with a shaman, getting hammock sound healing, or sound bath healing, thalassotherapy, and tens of other therapies that only an aficionado can understand. Now, Indian food is readily available with the influx of so many Indian tourists. I would like to mention two restaurants, Vrindavan in Seminyak and Pensona on Gili Travangan for great Indian food. Now, please note that all places add a service charge, so tipping is completely optional and generally not sought even through their body language. Our Indian adapters won't plug into their sockets, so do carry a travel adapter from India. There are many options online, you can choose any. Carrying a 10,000 mAh power bank is general advice for all trips irrespective of destination. Luckily, toilets usually have a bum shower or a jet spray, now unlike toilets in Europe, so you don't have to carry a portable bum shower. Coming to festivals in Bali, Bali has a long cultural history and so it has festivals round the year. Let me mention 5 major festivals of Bali and how tourists can participate in it. Nyepi or Day of Silence is the holiest day in Hindu Bali, which comes in around late March. The entire island shuts for 24 hours, no flights, no traffic, no lights, no outdoor activity. Tourists can participate by observing silence. Now, Bali Arts Festival is a 1-month-long festival between June and July. It's the largest cultural event held at the Taman Verdi Budaya Arts Center in Denpasar. Showcases dance, craft, costumes, exhibition. Tourists can attend performances, food fairs and workshops. Bali Kite Festival is held between July and August at the Padang Galak beach in Sanur. Huge symbolic kites to honor Hindu deities for good harvests are flown. Locals often invite tourists to hold and launch kite, making it a very engaging public festival. Bali Spirits Festival is a 4 to 5 day festival in April-May held in Ubud. It's a global wellness and yoga festival. It involves meditation, dance, music. Tourists can buy passes and join workshops, concerts and healing circles. Something unique is our temple anniversaries in Bali. Throughout the year they happen. Every temple celebrates its founding day. Every 210 days involves prayers, offerings, traditional dance. Tourists can watch and participate as well. Bali offers multiple immersive workshops. These can be easily booked through websites like Viator, Get Your Guide or Klook. Here are some popular ones. Balinese cooking classes. Usually not vegetarian friendly, the guide helps prepare participants with soups, appetizers, main course and dessert. Happens throughout the island, takes about 4 hours and costs 2,500. Silver jewelry making for about 3,000. Use 7 grams of silver to make yourself a ring, melt, hammer. It takes about 2 hours and happens across the island. Now there are also workshops to teach you batik style paintings, carving wood to make objects and Bali leather workshops as well. Let's talk about the essentials of going to Bali. I'll talk about 10 topics. Visa, flights, SIM, insurance, medical care, arrival card, duty-free shopping, time difference, weather, temperature, seasons, currency and cards, and lastly, language. Talking about visa, luckily for Indians, Bali's visa is on arrival at just $30 US. You don't need to show any documents as such, but the officer can still ask you for return tickets or accommodation proofs. That's it. The process is more like buying a visa for $30 US and entering the country. One can even apply for the e-visa beforehand and pay the same with a 3% card charge expense. Now, you don't have to pay anything at Bali if you get that. Just give your passport and you are through. Coming to flights, Bali has just one airport called the Denpasar Airport because it's in the Denpasar neighbourhood. There are 2 direct flights from India. Indigo flies 1 flight daily from Bangalore at about 1 AM and takes about 7 hours to reach, while Air India flies 1 flight daily from Delhi at about 10 PM in the night and takes about 8 hours to reach. Air India allows 25 kg allowance, while Indigo allows 20 kgs of allowance. Now the demand for the route is quite high, so the prices are usually higher on these than one-stop routes. There are tens of one-stop options via Singapore, Bangkok or Kuala Lumpur. Coming to SIM cards, there are 2 options. You can take an eSIM from any website like Bali SIM, Get Nomad, Matrix. I personally use Get Nomad. Now eSIMs are relatively expensive but can be much more convenient. You don't have to remove your primary SIM, no SIM ejectors needed. You don't have to keep safely the previous SIM that you've just taken out, and eSIMs are activated instantly. However, physical SIMs can be purchased right at the airport and are quite reliable and have much better data packages. So I bought about 10 GB from Get Nomad at about 1500 rupees, while at just 1700 the vendors were giving 35 GB at the airport. Some people even take international roaming on their Indian networks, but that is only recommended if you don't browse social media much or have Indian calls that you must attend to even on the trip. Now next, nobody asks for an insurance, but getting one is always advisable. I always take my travel insurance from Policy Bazaar, as it is an aggregator for all insurance providers. I enter my details, opt for the cheapest plan available. It is more for peace of mind than for anything else. Now, however, a lot of visa applications have mandatory travel insurance requirement, but Bali doesn't. So now, coming to the next point, medical clinics in Bali and pharmacies are everywhere, all around the place, even on Gili. The doctor charges about 3,000 rupees for a consultation, and then medicines have their own bill. Tap water in Bali is quite unfamous to create digestive problems, so avoid even brushing with that. Carry your regular cold, fever, aches, cut or loose motions medicine and you should be good. Like most countries, Indonesia also has a travel card that needs to be filled before you can exit the airport. It would ask you about your period of stay, any illnesses, customs and baggage declarations. You need to show the QR code that appears after the submission right before exiting the airport. Now up to 10 applications can be submitted in one QR code. Now the duty free at Bali airport is quite sad. It is small, dimly lit and more expensive than both India and Singapore in terms of price of alcoholic beverages. I would advise you to pre-purchase your bottles from India or your transit city from their duty free. Next, coming to time difference. There's a time difference about 2.5 hours between India and Bali. India has GMT plus 5:30, Bali has GMT plus 8. Sunrise is at around 6, sunset around 6:30. Because it is so close to the equator, temperature is around 25-26 year round.
November to March are monsoons, the other times are less rainy. Currency exchanges are more common than convenience stores in the country. Now all these currency exchanges have a list highlighting the day's currency exchange rate. You'll have USD, Australian dollar, Euro, SGD, Yen, New Zealand dollars are more common. But don't take INR thinking you would exchange them there. The exchange rate would be superbly bad. Most places in Bali accept credit card, either powered by MasterCard, Visa or American Express. The Diners Club didn't work anywhere, so be mindful. In terms of cash, most places accept cash except some high-end bars and clubs. The currency denomination in Bali is quite messed up. They have too many zeros. 1 INR is about 200 rupiah. So 1 lakh INR if you exchange, you get 2 crore or 20 million IDR. For a bottle of water, you pay 5,000 IDR or 25 rupees. People have started slashing the last 3 zeros, means 5,000 IDR, people would say just 5. If you want to use cash, convert them into euros or USD from India and then take to Bali. However, carrying a card is far more prudent and convenient. This poor currency denomination has also led to a lot of currency scams. Small shops are particularly infamous because the exchange volume in terms of number of paper notes is so high that the scam exchanges will end up giving you lesser notes than promised. I would advise you to exchange money with a friend next to you and double count before leaving the place. Indonesian Bahasa and Balinese are the most common languages spoken. English comes a far third. Now most locals and people not dealing with tourists know little or no English. However, people at restaurants, shops, activities, sightseeing, cabs, whoever deals with tourists, all know some degree of English, and the scene is much better than Vietnam or Thailand. But Google Translate can always come in handy. Now let's talk about the most awaited part, itineraries for your trip. You can plan a short trip of just 4 days or a medium trip from say Saturday to Saturday or Saturday to Sunday. You can even go for as long as 2 weeks. Let me give you options as a first-time traveler of what you can do during your time in Bali. If you're a first-time traveler on a 4-day visit, you can either visit the beach trio of Canggu, Seminyak, Kuta, or you can go up to Ubud for its temples, forests and waterfalls. If you are in Seminyak, I would suggest fly in and head to your stay. You must be a little tired, so maybe spend the rest of the day relaxing at a beach, participate in a water sport if you feel like, and in the evening go for a fine dine or a vegan restaurant. The next morning, wake up early and go to the beach for a surf lesson. From there, maybe head to a beach club for the next 6-7 hours, enjoy the music, food, pool and beach, enjoy the beautiful sunset, and then from there head to a nightclub. The next day, since you're in Canggu, it's famous for fitness centers, join a group class and maybe you make new friends. From the fitness class, head to Tahna Lot, which is a prominent temple in the southern part of the island. Sunsets are beautiful at Tahna Lot. From there, maybe go for another fine dine or a party as your mood feels like. The last day, wake up and get a nice Balinese massage, do some shopping and fly out. The second option for you is to head to Ubud. Now, Ubud is a little far from the airport, so by the time you reach, you're already quite tired. But day clubs in Ubud, since there is no beach, are not famous for sunsets. You can still head to Kretia or Cabana. In the evening, go for a vegan restaurant or a fine dine. On the second day, I would suggest go east of Bali, which has the grand temples and waterfalls. Evening, come back and maybe go for a nightclub. Blue Door and No Mask are popular nightclubs. On the third day, I would suggest you go for a canyoning experience in North Bali to one of its waterfalls. By the time you come back, it would already be evening, and maybe since it's a tiring experience in the day, go for a nice restaurant, a nice meal in the evening. On the last day, get up and maybe take a nice Balinese massage. In the afternoon, take a nice ATV ride experience through those muddy paths and rice terraces, waterfalls and caves, and fly out of the country. If you're planning to go to Bali for about 8 to 9 days, which most Indian tourists do, I would suggest spend 3 days in Ubud, spend 3 days in the beach trio of Seminyak, Kuta, Canggu, and for the next 2 to 3 days, I'll give you 3 options. You can go to Uluwatu, Nusa Islands or Gili Islands. Now say you choose to go to Uluwatu. In the morning, head to the Padang Padang beach and see some of the surfers beating the waves or yourself surf. In the afternoon, go to the iconic rock bar. It's the most beautiful place in Bali, and be there till the sunset. Post sunset, head to Savaya, another iconic place with that color changing cube in the middle, and have a fine dine dinner. The next morning, hire a two-wheeler and explore the island on your own. In the afternoon, Head to one of the beach clubs in Uluwatu. They have their own charm. Go to Sundays, El Carbon, or you say it. In the evening, maybe go for a fine dine dinner after the famous Kechak dance at the Uluwatu temple. It happens between 6 to 7 and 7 to 8. If you choose to go to Nusa Islands, I would suggest take a ferry from the Sanur port. It takes about an hour to reach Nusa Penida. On the same day, explore the western part of the island, Keling Keling Beach, Ancient Billabong, Broken Beach, and maybe snorkel a bit as well. On the next day, take a day trip to one of the other Nusa Islands. You can go to Nusa Seningen or Nusa Lembongan. On the third day, explore the eastern side of the island, which very few tourists do because you have to stay in Nusa Penida if you want to explore that. You can go to the Diamond Beach or the famous tree house that is Instagram worthy, or the Teletubbies Hills, and return back. If you choose to go to the Gili Islands, take a ferry from the Padangbai port. It takes about 2 hours to reach Gili Travangan. On the first day, I would say go for the foam party at the Rabbit Jump. In the evening, maybe go for a pub crawl. Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays, the Irish pub in Gili Travangan hosts the best pub crawls on the island. On the next day, wake up and go for either surfing or snorkeling on your own, or maybe take a lesson. In the afternoon, take a cycle and paddle around. In the evening, if you're into it, visit one of the mushroom cafes that they have. On the third day, wake up and do the best scuba experience. Take a ferry and head back in the afternoon. If you plan to go there for 2 weeks, 14 days, I would suggest spend 3 days in the beach try of Seminyak Kuta, Canggu, spend 3 days in Ubud, go for 2 days to Uluwatu. This completes 8 days. The next 2 days you can go to one of the 2 islands of either Gili or Nusa. For the last part, I give you 4 options. You can go to the Komodo Island and the Pink Beach on the east of Bali. You can go to Mount Bromo or Ijen near Surabaya on the west of Bali. You can visit both Gili and Nusa Penida Islands. Fourth option could be you visit the Lombok Island and ascend Mount Rinjani.
Coming to how much you can expect to spend on the trip, Indonesia is 1.23 times more expensive than India. Now let's divide the tourists across 3 lines. First could be how long they go, duration of the trip could be 4, 8 or 14 days. What is their preference of stay, basic, mid-budget or luxury? And what is their level of enthusiasm, low, medium or high? Now through permutations, we get 27 profiles of tourists basis these 3 classifications. Flight cost, visa, SIM, insurance would be pretty much the same for everyone. Flights around 45k, others around 5k. So 50,000 is the basic cost for anybody. Now food and internal movement are costs that are mandatory and are largely dependent on the PPP of the country. From my experience, 3k on food per day and 1k on internal movement should suffice all types of tourists. Now basis the length, we get this. Now let's complicate this with the stay and level of enthusiasm metrics. Stays can be as cheap as 1,000 per person per night to 5,000 for luxury and 2.5 for mid-budget travelers. People with higher enthusiasm are likely to partake in more activities, spending as high as 8k per day, but others might end up spending just 2k or 4k per day. All this leads up to these 3 tables. Pause the video and have a look. In INR, short trips can cost anywhere between 80 to 120k, medium 105 to 185k, and long trips 1.5 to 3 lakhs for the whole trip. Now Bali is an absolute visit place. It's a gem of a country. I have tried to cover all topics that came to mind. Let me know if I've missed something. Let's grow the channel by liking and subscribing, and type in the comments which place should I cover next.